Former Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte returned to Manila on Tuesday, March 11, 2025. He arrived at Nayaya Terminal 3 after a trip to Hong Kong. Duterte flew in on Cathay Pacific Flight CX-907, landing shortly after 9 in the morning. His return has been met with significant public interest, particularly in light of recent rumors and speculation. Duterte's arrival was followed by his transfer to Calayan. He was then taken to the 250th Presidential Airlift Wing inside Villamor Air Base. This base is a familiar location for the former president. Duterte's return to the Philippines marks the end of his short visit to Hong Kong. The purpose and details of this trip have not been officially disclosed, however it has fueled public speculation and media attention. Duterte's return coincides with swirling rumors of a possible arrest warrant from the International Criminal Court, or ICC. These rumors have been circulating in both Philippine and international media outlets. The ICC's investigation into Duterte's controversial war on drugs has been a source of tension for several years. Senator Bong Go, a close ally of Duterte, confirmed that the former president has a scheduled medical checkup. This checkup is set for Wednesday, March 12, 2025 at Cardinal Santos Medical Center. The timing of this medical appointment so soon after his return has further fueled speculation about Duterte's health. The rumors suggest that the ICC might issue an arrest warrant related to Duterte's war on drugs. This policy, implemented during his presidency, has been widely criticized for alleged human rights abuses. Check 1, check 2, check. Duterte has publicly addressed the rumors surrounding the ICC arrest warrant. He firmly denied any intention of evading arrest by fleeing to Hong Kong. Duterte emphasized that his visit was primarily to attend an overseas Filipino worker gathering with his daughter, Vice President Sara Duterte. Duterte stated that he is prepared to face any legal proceedings in the Philippines. He asserted his innocence and reiterated his commitment to defending his actions during his presidency. He emphasized that he believes any trial should be conducted within the Philippine legal system. These statements reflect Duterte's consistent stance on the ICC investigation. He has repeatedly criticized the court's jurisdiction over the Philippines. He has also questioned the impartiality of the ICC's proceedings. Section 4. The ICC Investigation, a background on the War on Drugs probe. The International Criminal Court, or ICC, is an intergovernmental organization and international tribunal that sits in The Hague, Netherlands. Established in 2002, the ICC was created to help end impunity for the perpetrators of the most serious crimes of concern to the international community. It operates independently from the United Nations, although it often collaborates with the UN and other international bodies to achieve its goals. The ICC is the first and only permanent international court with jurisdiction to prosecute individuals for the international crimes of genocide, crimes against humanity, war crimes, and the crime of aggression. Its mandate is to ensure that the gravest offenses do not go unpunished, and to contribute to the prevention of such crimes. The court's jurisdiction is complementary to national criminal jurisdictions, meaning it can only prosecute when national courts are unwilling or unable to do so. The ICC's investigation into Duterte and other Philippine officials stems from allegations of crimes against humanity. These allegations are based on reports and evidence collected from various sources, including human rights organizations, victims' families, and media reports. The court's role is to impartially examine these allegations and determine whether there is sufficient evidence to proceed with charges. These allegations are directly related to the thousands of deaths that occurred during Duterte's controversial war on drugs. Launched in 2016, the campaign aimed to eradicate illegal drug use and trafficking in the Philippines. However, it has been widely criticized for its brutal methods, including extrajudicial killings and other human rights abuses. The death toll has been staggering, with estimates ranging from several thousand to tens of thousands of victims. The ICC launched a preliminary examination in 2016 and initiated a formal investigation in 2021. The preliminary examination phase involves gathering and analyzing information to determine whether there is a reasonable basis to proceed with an investigation. This phase is crucial as it sets the groundwork for a thorough and comprehensive investigation. The ICC's investigation focuses on extrajudicial killings and other alleged human rights abuses committed during the drug war. These include reports of police and vigilante groups carrying out summary executions without due process. The investigation aims to uncover the truth behind these allegations and hold those responsible accountable for their actions. The court seeks to determine whether these acts constitute crimes against humanity, and if Duterte and other officials bear responsibility. Crimes against humanity are defined as widespread or systematic attacks directed against any civilian population with knowledge of the attack. If the ICC finds sufficient evidence, it could lead to charges and potentially a trial, marking a significant step in the pursuit of justice for the victims of the war on drugs. Section 5. Discrepancies in death tolls, police records versus human rights groups. A significant point of contention in the ICC investigation is the discrepancy in reported death tolls related to the drug war. This issue has sparked intense debate and scrutiny from various sectors, including legal experts, human rights advocates, and international observers. The conflicting numbers have raised questions about the transparency and accountability of the authorities involved. Philippine National Police, or PNP, records acknowledge around 6,000 deaths during police operations. These figures are based on official reports and are often cited by government officials to justify the ongoing anti-drug campaign. The PNP maintains that these deaths occurred during legitimate law enforcement activities aimed at curbing the illegal drug trade. These records attribute the deaths to suspects resisting arrest. According to the PNP, the suspects were armed and posed a threat to the officers, necessitating the use of lethal force. This narrative is frequently used to defend the actions of the police and to portray the operations as necessary measures to ensure public safety. However, human rights groups and international organizations dispute the PNP's figures. They argue that the official numbers significantly underreport the true scale of the violence. These groups have conducted independent investigations and gathered testimonies from victims' families, witnesses, and community members. They claim the actual death toll is significantly higher, potentially reaching up to 30,000. This stark contrast in numbers highlights the deep mistrust between the authorities and the communities affected by the drug war. The higher estimates include not only those killed in police operations, but also individuals targeted by vigilante groups and other extrajudicial killings. These groups argue that the PNP's data do not account for killings attributed to vigilante groups or those categorized as deaths under investigation. They believe that many of these deaths are the result of state-sanctioned violence and a culture of impunity that allows perpetrators to act without fear of repercussions. This discrepancy in reported deaths is a crucial aspect of the ICC's investigation. The court aims to uncover the truth behind these conflicting reports and to hold accountable those responsible for any unlawful killings. The investigation involves meticulous examination of evidence, including forensic analysis, witness testimonies, and official records. The court's prosecutors are tasked with verifying the accuracy of these figures and determining the circumstances surrounding each death. This process is essential for ensuring justice for the victims and for upholding the rule of law. The outcome of the ICC's investigation could have significant implications for the future of the drug war and for the broader issue of human rights in the Philippines. Section 6. Senator Bong Go confirms medical checkup, dismisses speculation. Senator Bong Go, a close confidant of the former president, has dismissed speculation surrounding Duterte's return and the ICC rumors. In a recent press conference, Go addressed the swirling rumors head-on, clarifying that there is no truth to the speculations about Duterte's health being a factor in his return to the public eye. He emphasized that Duterte's activities are part of a pre-planned schedule and not a reaction to any external pressures or health concerns. Go confirmed the scheduled medical checkup at Cardinal Santos Medical Center, emphasizing that it was planned in advance and is not related to any alleged health concerns arising from the ICC situation. He reiterated that the checkup is a routine procedure, something that Duterte has been doing regularly to ensure his well-being. Go also mentioned that the former president is in good health and spirits and there is no cause for alarm. Go urged the public to refrain from spreading unfounded rumors and to rely on verified information from official sources. He stressed the importance of not falling prey to misinformation, which can cause unnecessary panic and confusion. Go called on the media to be responsible in their reporting and to verify facts before publishing stories that could mislead the public. He assured the public that Duterte is committed to transparency and would address any legal matters through the proper channels. Go highlighted Duterte's dedication to upholding the law and his willingness to cooperate with any legal proceedings. He pointed out that Duterte has always been forthright with the public and will continue to be so, especially in matters concerning his health and legal issues. Those statements reflect the Duterte camp's strategy of downplaying the ICC investigation and projecting an image of normalcy. By maintaining a calm and composed demeanor, the Duterte camp aims to reassure supporters and the general public that there is no cause for concern. This approach is intended to mitigate any potential negative impact of the ICC investigation on Duterte's reputation and political influence. However, the timing of Duterte's return and his strong pronouncements about facing charges within the Philippines suggest a calculated response to the escalating legal pressure. Duterte's statements about his willingness to face charges in the Philippines, rather than in an international court, indicate a strategic move to assert his sovereignty and challenge the legitimacy of the ICC's jurisdiction over him. This calculated response is likely aimed at rallying nationalistic sentiments and strengthening his support base within the country.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk about it. Let's make it clear. Right now, what is clear?
What is clear is we need to do the booking process here.
Yeah, she's asking that she is brought to the hospital. You can do that there. Is that too much to ask?
Yes, sir, that's too much.
Oh, is that too much?
18 years old siya. 18 years old siya. 18 years old siya.
Ilang sa Pilipino?
18 years old siya.
Ilang sa Pilipino ang nahuli kayong araw na to? Ilang ang
Anong
dumating sa
kaso?
hospital?
Kaya nga, anong kaso? Gawa lang ng kaso.
Sir, kung kayo lang sir, ilang Pilipino ang binuka, ilang presidente na namumuk. So that means that you are banking on the inequality of the law because of the status of the person.
On the basis for detention. So, what is the law and what is the crime that I committed? Show to me now the legal basis for my being here. As apparently I was brought here not of my own volition. If somebody else says, kung hindi ibang tao, ikaw siguro, because this is your structure. So you have to answer now for the deprivation of liberty.
Kung general naman kayo, alam niyo ba na hindi man lang siya na-serve kung anong kaso kung sina-charge sa kanya ngayon? Hindi niya alam. No?
Kahit na PI man lang.
Alam mo, ang charge sa kanya nasa dyaryo lang. And then, hindi pa kayo na, ganito ginagawa natin. Sumusunod tayo sa isang entity na hindi na tayo membro. Nag-withdraw na tayo. And yet, sir, you are the Prosecutor General. Yes. You know how to exercise due process. Before you can even file charges, you have to file a complaint. We have to file a counter affidavit. Without doing those procedural process, here we are being issued a warrant of arrest, questionable warrant of arrest. Ano naman po, sir? Sir.
There's naman doon blooper, puro pagdating sa trial gan, tatawagin kita sa witness stand. Sabihin ko, you're the person who arrested me. May I know the reason why? Have you read the documents? Or at least, have you read the case at that time when you made the arrest? So that you would be guided to what you should know. Yan lang yan. Magkaibigan tayo.
Facing our obligations under the okay, sir?
Ang inaano lang din mo namin, hindi kami
Sir, ganito.
Let us follow the
Ito na ang sinasabi ko, sir, na we can do this the hard way. We can do this the easy way. The easy way, sir, is for you to choose 3 people to accompany here to the plane. May bus dyan, and he's going to the plane. Okay, sir. The hard way.
What plane is this, sir?
Ma'am, chartered flight.
Chartered flight
Okay.
from? So we need
The
to
hard way.
know. We
The hard-
need to know
Ma'am,
where you're
ma'am,
bringing our
ma'am.
president.
Ma'am, the hard way.
Sir, we need to know. Please give
Ma'am.
us information
Makinig ka muna, ma'am.
where you are bringing
Wala sa pay grade ko yan, ma'am. Tagalogin na natin.
Sabihin nyo kung saan siya
The
dalahin.
hard way,
Kung
Tang
sino po
ina
may
ka.
grade,
The hard
pakisagot
way.
po kami.
the hard way is for me to
We are not signatory to the ICC.
That's what they're doing now.
Hindi ako, yan ako hindi papayag. I am a Filipino. You are all Filipino citizens. Ako, pag nagkasala, you prosecute me in Philippine courts with the Filipino judge, the Filipino prosecutor, and magpakulong ako dito sa bayan ko. Kung sakali.
They're preparing you to bring you to the Hague.
I am sure. I am very sure. I'm a lawyer. Abogado ka man. I am sure the Supreme Court will rebuke them. Baski na hindi tayo maghingi niyan, the Supreme Court will rebuke them. Tignan mo. Hindi pa bayad ang Supreme Court. Wala tayo extradition treaty. At saka nag-withdraw na tayo. Bakit mo ako dadalhin doon sa international body na hindi na tayo bibro? That's a big question. Kaya nga, ano ito sila sa Supreme Court, tignan mo. Whether rightly or wrongly ang decision na mag-withdraw tayo sa ICC, the fact that we are already not a member. So, dapat intindihin ng mga abogado yan, pati sila, they should, ay ko naman, Torre, ask them seriously again. Kasi, palapit ka na mag-retire. So, just ask them, sigurado ba kayo dito? Kasi hindi na tayo membro ng ICC. Medisina ko rin. Sabihin lang dito drama. Sabihin mo, sabihin mo totoo, hindi alam nila yan. Matanda ka na, kailangan mo medisina.
Dahil alam niyo naman, siya lang yung nagsabi, walang jurisdiction ang ICC. Pagkatapos ang Alberto de Ares ay galing sa ICC. Kung walang jurisdiction, bakit niya hinayaan at tinutulungan pa na arestuin ang dating Presidente Duterte? Dapat yung mga abogado, hindi nila pinapapasok. Sinasalubong ng abogado ni kasama kong abogado sa paglanding, hindi nila pinapasok. Pati senador ng bansa, hindi nila pinapasok sa Bongo. Ngayon, nararating na lang from Hong Kong, malalating na namin. Gusto kong pumasok at bisitahin si Pangulong Duterte, ayaw din ako papasukin. Ay ano magpasi? So, yung sinasabi ni dating Presidente Duterte, na tayo patungo sa diktadurya. Mukhang nabilo na tayo sa diktadurya. Meron pati mga abogado sa ating sariling batas ay binibigyan ng karapatan na kung sino mga akusado ng isang krimen na mabigyan ka agad ng lugar. Sa moment pa lang na kanyang pag-aaresto, wala. Pero tinanggihan, okay. Ilang oras na nakakaraan, hindi pa rin siya makakuha ng abogado niya. Talagang, alam po ninyo, parang hindi natututo itong mga nasa kapangyarihan sa kasaysayan ng bansa. Pag sinupil ninyo at nilabag nyo ang mga karapatang pangtao, ang taong bayan na naglagay sa inyo ay hindi ito mangingimi at tatahimik kung hindi sila na nag-improve sa inyo siyang tatanggal sa inyo. Tandaan niyo po yan sila.
Attorney, may confirmation na ba na dadating daw si PRRD sa Dahig as statement po kasi ni Attorney Cristina Conti?
Yan ang abogado niya, nagpapanggap na ICC lawyer, hindi naman ICC lawyer. Abogado na siya, isang complainant. Pero whatever, alam nyo, sinimulan nila ng illegal na pag-aresto. Kaya hindi tayo magtataka kung illegal din ang gagawin nila. May labas ang Presidente Duterte ito sa bansa at dalhin doon sa...
Ayan, okay na.
For now, Attorney, dito muna magpapalipas lang?
Hindi natin alam. Nobody knows kung anong gagawin nila sapagkat ayaw nga kami papasukin. Walang abogado ngayon doon upang proteksyonan ang kanilang mga karapatan. Yan ang problema nila.
Sir, hindi niyo pa nakausap?
Ay, paano hindi nga makapasok para kung makakausap.
Telepono, sir?
O, hindi ba ayaw yung tawagan yung telepono.
Sir, anong next po? Anong next na?
Tingnan natin kung anong gagawin natin pag-uusap ng mga abogado. Sa ngayon, nag-aantay kami kasi sabi nila, hingi daw sila ng guidance kung pwede ako pumasok. So, inaantay.
Sir, si BP Sara po,
Nasa Hong Kong, baka pabalik na dito.
may nabanggit po ba o nakakausap niyo na
Hindi,
po si
hindi
BP
ko
Sara?
na.
Walang advice sa inyo yung family, sir. Hindi mo kami ng help, ng legal opinion.
Legal opinion, kami ngayon mga abogado nandito na. Ang problema, hindi kami makapasok. Hindi namin makausap ang kliyente namin.
Sana po may manawagan na lumabas na yung mga tao. Kaya kami nandito, voluntary, nagpunta kami dito. Kasi nakita namin yung balita. Kasi kung walang mananawagan,
Sir, anong side niyo naman po doon sa pagkakabigay daw po ng warrant po kay...
Well, gaya ng sinabi ko, illegal yung mandamento ng aresto na inisyo ng ICC. Kasi walang jurisdiction ang ICC sa atin. Hindi na tayo miyembro. Ngayon, yung ginamit nilang Interpol, mali rin yun kasi yung Interpol, ang mandat lang doon, ayusin at ipaalam sa mga bansang miyembro kung nasaan yung hinahanap nila. Hindi sila pwedeng mag-aresto. Ang nag-aresto ay yung mga PNP natin, hindi sila.
So, sir, anong na-indicate na mismong yung PNP ang kumilos para...
Ang PNP hindi makakakilos kung walang utos ang pinakamataas. Kaya sinasabi ko, ang tungkulin ng isang presidente ay pagsilbihan at bigyan ng proteksyon ng bayan. Ang ginawa niya ngayon, ang ginawa ng gobyerno ngayon, ay pinagkanulo ang sovereignty ng ating bansa at tinutulungan pa ang dayuhan upang sirain, lamagin ang ating saligang batas. Hindi dapat tayo pumapayag dito. Kaya napaka-unpatriotic ang ginagawa ng gobyerno ito. At kung si Pangulong Marcos Jr. ang nagutos nito na may mananagot siya sapagkat impeachable ground ang kanyang ginawa sapagkat pinagtaksilan niya ang sumpang ginawa niya bilang presidente ng bansa na pangalaga at ipagtanggol ang interes ng bansa at ng ating kasarilan. Pag isinuko mo kasi ang isang Pilipino batay sa isang mandamento de arresto ng isang dayuhan na wala naman jurisdiction, isinusuko mo ang kasarilan at territorial integrity ng bansa. At yan ay countable violation of the Constitution. Ito lang, pag-deprive mo lang ang mga abogado. Kaya yung sinasabi ni Presidente Duterte, 2 linggo na nakakaraan, na mukhang tayo ay patungo sa diktadurya. Ano man patungo, eto na yun. Nandito na tayo. Kaya, gaya ng sinabi ng isang mamamayan, voluntary siya nagpunta rito at aantay siya ng manawagan daw para maglabasan ng tao. Palagay ko kahit na hindi ka manawagan, magsisimula ng maglabasan ng tao. At ang ang tinatakot ko ay magkakaroon na naman tayo ng pagbabago ng gobyerno dito sa ating bansa. At yan na naman ang dahilan kung bakit ang Pilipinas ay hindi na umunlad. Palagi tayong pabalik sa bokya sa zero. Dahil palagi na lang dahil sa katakawan sa kapangyarihan upang manatili sa kapangyarihan ay gagawin ang lahat upang sirain ang kanilang mga kalaban sa politika. Itong nangyari kay PRRD ay isang politika. Ito yung tungkol sa 2028 elections. Kailangan siraan nila si Presidente Duterte at si VP Sara upang silang dalawa ay mawala sa political horizon sa 2028. Yan ang katotohanan nito.
Sir, nakita niyo na po kayong warrant? O yung kopya man lang?
Una-una, alam nyo, yung ginawa ni kung sino man nag-aresto yung PNP, nung hindi nila pinapasok ang abogado, isa sa aming mga abogado, si Pinibelio, ibig sabihin, wala silang warrant. Wala silang hard copy. Kasi kung meron, yun ang unang tatanungin ng isang abogado, nasa may warrant ba kayo? Eh dahil nga wala silang may pakita, tinakas na nila si Presidente, tinasok na rito si Bingo.
Sir, dun sa kapag daw ang ICC nag-issue ng warrant of arrest, immediately dapat daw siyang dalhin sa dahig para doon nag-issue. Ano yung take mo doon?
Hindi po pwede yun kasi unang-una, kailangan ng isang hukuman sa bansa natin. Dahil yun ay warrant of arrest galing sa ibang bansa. Kailangan dumaan muna yan sa local court. Kailangan tingnan ng local court natin kung valid yung warrant of arrest mo. Kung ano, bakit nag-issue. Kailangan mo lang padaanin yan. Hindi mo lang padaan.
Kung hindi siya pwede ba siyang kalat ka rin para maisama ng mga taga...
Hindi pwede, pero yun ang ginagawa nila.
Sir, last na po, paano magagawin dun sa nangyari po sa kanya? Kung saan man lang.
Well, kaya po na sinabi ko, ang taong bayan ay hindi mananahimik dito. Sa mga nakita nila ang lantaran na paglabag sa karapatan ng Presidente Duterte na sa kanyang 6 na taon na po sa Pangunawan ay nagbigay sa atin ng kasaganaan, sinira niya ang kriminalidad, illegal na droga, pati yung mga terorista. Iyon ay tumatak sa puso at isipan ng taong bayan. At hindi sila papayag na aapiin ang isang kagaya ng Presidente Duterte na naglingkod ng tapat sa bayan. Kaya huwag kayo magtaka kung ang tao ay magsimula ng maglabasan sa kalye at magkaroon na naman ng tinatawag na political appearance sa pamamagitan